In today's video, I'll be giving you guys the best 3 center builds you can make on NBA 2K26. Just to make it easy for everybody, I'm making these builds in mind that you guys have 0 cap breakers, and I will leave timestamps on the video so you know exactly when each build will be shown. All I ask is drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just get right into the top 3 center builds on NBA 2K26. Alright, so the first center build I'm going to be showing is a footer. Now this build I would personally recommend playing in 5s, whether it's rec, pro-am, anything like that, but it is also good in park. So you guys can see you are a center, 7 foot, 252 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. So come over to your shooting. This build will be a popper, and we're going to go ahead and max out our 3-point to an 80 and then put our mid-range up to a 73. You can leave this at 70 if you really want to, but I just ended up putting it at 73. But 83 point is more than enough to be able to shoot consistently in this game. So go ahead and put that to an 80. And then let's just come over to our physicals, and you're going to want to max pretty much everything. Max your speed, max your agility, but we're going to put our strength up to a 91, and the reason we put this to a 91 is because that unlocks gold brick wall, where you will most likely use one of your max +1 or max +2 badges to get that on either Hall of Fame or Legend, just to help your guards out. Next, vertical. Let's go ahead and max out your vertical. It's actually really important for footers because a lot of people that run 6'9" and stuff like that have 85+ vertical, so you want to be able to jump with that. Next, come to your rebounding, and you're going to want to put your defensive rebound all the way up to a 94. And as you see at 94, you get Box Out Beast Hall of Fame. Of course, I am making these builds in mind that you don't have cap breakers. If you do have cap breakers, I would recommend using them on this to get your defensive rebound up to a 96, and then using your max +1 badges on Rebound Chaser to get that to Legend. Next, offensive rebound, we're going to go ahead and put this up to an 88. Now, the reason why you go higher defensive rebound than offensive is you're a popper. Yes, you will be in the paint sometimes on offense, but a lot of the times you are going to be at the 3-point line, either off the pick and pop or spotting up for your ISO player. So obviously defensive rebound is more important, and you want at least one of these to be 94 or 96 so you get the rebounding badges on Hall of Fame. Next, we're going to come to our defense, and we're going to put our interior defense up to an 82, and we're going to put our block up to an 84. And you see what badges you unlock with that: Paint Patroller Silver and High Flying Denier on Silver. Now, I want you guys to know, I already said this is mainly a rec build, but it's also good in park. I don't think interior and block are honestly that important this year. For centers, block definitely more than interior, because if you're there, they're just going to miss the shot, especially being a footer. Next, let's come over to our steal, and we're going to put this all the way up to a 67 so that you at least unlock glove, although it is kind of a pointless badge, but having it come in clutch for just 7 extra attributes can be worth it sometimes. And then come to your perimeter defense, and we're going to put this up to a 62 so that you get immovable enforcer bronze, and if you do end up switching on somebody that's at the perimeter or somebody tries isoing you, you can hold your own. Next, come to your pass accuracy, and we're going to put our pass accuracy all the way up to an 87. The reason why we go 87 is you get gold break starter, and like I said, this is mainly for rec, 5s, pro-am, proving ground, so you want to be able to push the ball down the court. You also get gold dimer off this and gold versatile visionary. And then lastly, come over to your finishing. Standing dunk, we're going to put all the way up to a 90 for that rise up on gold, and then we're going to put our driving dunk to a 73 so you get posterizer on bronze. And that is pretty much the build. Now, if you do play rec or pro-am, just go ahead and put the rest on your free throw, get this up to a 77, and that wraps up the build. If not, you can put it on whatever, but like I said, I'm making this in mind that people are playing 5s on it. So let's go over it one more time very quickly. 3-point shot, 80. It's more than high enough to shoot consistently in this game. The shooting in this game is extremely easy. I would recommend rhythm shooting every shot. Next, pass accuracy, 87 for all of those badges on gold, the most important one being break starter so you can push the ball down the court. 82 interior and 84 blocks, so you get all the defensive badges on silver, which in my opinion, people don't really paint match this year, and when they do, it's because they're 5 outings, so you can't really afford to sit in the paint anyway. 62 perimeter and 67 steal, more than high enough for a build like this. Next, you're going to come to your defensive rebound. You're going to have that at a 94. If you have cap breakers, I would recommend putting 2 to get this to a 96 and using your max plus 1s on your rebound chaser to get that on legend, and then an 88 offensive rebound because you don't really sit in the paint that often on offense, but having it a high rating could be clutch. And then max out all your physicals except for strength, put that at 91 to get brick wall on gold, 73 driving dunk for that bronze posterizer, and 90 standing dunk for gold rise up. That is the footer build. And when you make this build, you see who you get the shades of. You are a lob threat glass visionary. Like I said, this is mainly for 5s, but I see a lot of footers in park. But if you guys want a park specific build, let me show you guys that right now. Okay, so when it comes to park, I actually think the best height is 6'9" because you will run into a lot of double ISO and you will need to switch a lot. So I think 6'9" is personally the best height, especially when crashing for rebounds and having to switch on the ball handler. 635 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan. All right, come over to your shooting and we're gonna go ahead and put our 3-point shot all the way up to an 80. 80 is just a sweet spot for poppers this year. It makes it so you shoot consistent enough. And then we're gonna leave our mid-range at a 70. And then next, come over to your pass accuracy and put this up to a 71. Obviously, this is a park build, so pass accuracy is not as important, and 71 is the sweet spot this year for just getting consistent passes. Next, you're gonna come over to your perimeter defense. Actually, no, let's do our physicals. And like I said, for centers, you always want to max your physicals. It's actually very important, except, once again, strength. We're going to put our strength, same thing, up to a 91. So you do get that gold brick wall where you will use one of your max plus 1s or max plus 2s. Come to your vertical, and you're going to have a high vertical on this build. You're going to have an 85 vertical, which is more than high enough for a 6'9" build. Then come to your rebounding, and the same reasoning as the last one, you're going to have a 92 offensive rebound on this build, getting both of those badges on gold, and then put your offensive rebound up to an 86. Now, obviously, I would recommend using one of your max plus 1 or plus 2 badges on rebound chaser or box out beast. I would personally recommend rebound chaser, and if you do have cap breakers, you can go ahead and cap break your defensive rebound up to a 96. But if you don't, it's kind of an expensive attribute with the 6'9". So yeah, that's why I would recommend using your max plus 1 or max plus 2 on that. Next, interior defense, put this up to a 74 for post lockdown bronze. Keep in mind, this is a park build and you do not go against a lot of people that are going in the paint a lot in park. People like to shoot, and when they do go in the paint, you are 6'9", they will not have success on you. Perimeter defense, we're gonna go ahead and put this up to a 75. Like I said, you will have to switch onto people a lot on this build in park, so you do want perimeter. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our steal up to a 60, so you at least unlock that bronze interceptor. Next, we're gonna put our block all the way up to an 84. A 84 block, you see you get that paint patroller, and of course just better block animations and contest. And then we're gonna finish this build off with our finishing. We're going to go ahead and put our standing dunk up to an 81. That gets rise up on silver. And then we are going to go ahead and put our driving dunk up to a 75. And you see, that is the build. We have no attributes left to put that last one on post control, and that's a 6'9" build. I would recommend using this in park. I would not recommend going to 5s and using a 6'9" build as a center. I think you need to be at least 7 foot for that, because speed is not as important as 5s as it is in park, where 2s and 3s you just need to be fast running around the court. Let me go over this build one more time. So you're gonna have an 83 and a 70 mid-range, more than high enough to shoot consistently, especially on 2K26, the easiest 2K shooting ever. Next, we're gonna go to pass accuracy, put that to a 71. Not as important in park as it is in rec, and I'm telling you guys, 71 is the sweet spot this year. All your defensive attributes will be in the 70s besides block, which I think is probably the most important one for these centers, especially the 6'9", because you get some crazy block animations. 92 defensive rebound, where you can end up putting cap breakers to get this to a 94 or 96 if you have them, or use your max plus 1 badges to get rebound chaser on Hall of Famer legend. 86 offensive, because you will more than likely be popping and at the 3-point line a lot on offense, but you still want this a high rating in case you do crash. All your physicals are max with your speed and agility. 91 strengths for that gold brick wall, where you can use a max plus 1 badge to get that to Hall of Fame. And then an 85 vertical, so you can jump with the footers. And then we're going to finish it off with our finishing. 75 driving dunk for the Devin Booker dunk package, which is super important. And then 81 standing dunk for silver rise up. And that is the 6'9" build that I would end up using in park, the build that I like my poppers to run on. You see, you have built a glass tyrant. That's a pretty cool name, and this is a pretty good build. Let's wrap up the video with the last build and probably the most toxic build on 2K26. Let me show you. And when you heard the most toxic build, I'm sure you knew what was coming, a 7'4" stretch. These builds have just been absolutely running the game, and let me show you guys how I would make him. So it doesn't matter if you play rec, if you play 2s, if you play 3s, you get on this build and you shoot over people. So we're going to start off with our 3-point and our mid-range. We are going to max them both because it is just important to have the highest ratings, so you have the biggest green windows when you want to shoot over people and just be toxic. Next, pass accuracy. We're going to actually put this up to an 82, so you have gold dimer, because I'm telling you guys, on this build, people will double team you and they will try and trapper you, so having a higher pass accuracy actually is important. And then this build is actually going to have the highest interior defense and block that we've had out of any center. 88 interior and an 88 block. Having these ratings is actually really important since you are kind of small, skinny, you don't have that high of strength on this build, so you need these to compete in the paint. We're going to go ahead and max our steal since you are 7'4", and then we're going to put our perimeter defense up to a 60, so you can play perimeter defense if you need to, but let's be honest, you're 7'4", you are not playing great perimeter defense anyway. Let's just go right off to our physicals, which I usually do at the beginning, and let's max these. I told you guys, super important. Max your vertical as well, because you need to compete on those rebounds even though you are 7'4", and then our strength we are going to put all the way up to an 84, so you get gold post lockdown. So even though you're skinny, you are a low weight on this build. You have 88 interior, 88 block, and that gold post lockdown, so you can actually lock up people that try going in the paint on you. Then we're going to do our rebounding. Defensive rebound, we're going to put all the way up to an 88, and we're going to put our offensive rebound, honestly, pretty low, to a 75. The reason we have such a low offensive rebound on this build is because you are the one taking the shots. You're a 7'4", you're standing at the 3-point line, and you're making the other team have to face guard you. So you are rarely in the paint on this build, but you still need to compete for the defensive rebounds, and if you want, you can use cap breakers on this, but I honestly wouldn't even recommend using it on your defensive rebound. This build is just so toxic this year, just shooting over people. Next, we're going to go to our standing and driving dunk, and we're going to put our standing dunk all the way up to a 90 for that rise up gold, and we are going to put our driving dunk all the way up to a 65, so you do get better dunk animations. So yeah, we're going to put our standing dunk all the way up to a 90, and then you are actually going to have both ball handle and speed with ball maxed on this build, and the reason is because you will have the ball in your hands, and if you want to dribble, that's fine, you can. But I'm going to be honest, with this build, you just kind of want to catch and shoot, maybe do 1 or 2 steps and make them jump, and then just be toxic and shoot over people. This build is so toxic, guys. I can't believe that this is allowed in the game. And then we're going to finish it off with our driving dunk, get that to a 60, and that's the build. This is the toxic 7'4" build that has just been absolutely taking over NBA 2K26. People have been complaining about, and people are asking to get patched. This is exactly how I would make it. Let me go over it one more time. 89 3-point, 90 mid-range. The main thing you do on this build is shoot, so you need these to be as high as possible for the badges and just being able to shoot over people. You're going to max out your ball handle and speed with ball just in case you do have the ball, which you will a lot of the time. Pass accuracy 82 for that gold dimer because you will get double teamed and you will get trappered. You're going to have a 90 standing dunk for the gold rise up. You'll have 88 interior and 88 block, so you are very good defensively in the paint while being 7'4". 88 defensive rebound is more than high enough because remember, you're 7'4", you are taller than everybody on the court, and then max out your speed and agility on every build pretty much no matter what. 84 strength for that gold post lockdown, and then we're going to put our vertical to a 70, and that is the build. This is the best 7'4" build you can possibly make on the game, and let's see what it's called when you make him. It should just be called a toxic stretch, but you see it is called a backline stretch lob threat. That is the final build and the most toxic build in this video. And that wraps it up. Those are all 3 center builds and my favorite 3 center builds on this game. Yes, all poppers because this game is too easy to shoot in. If you guys did enjoy this video or want to help out the channel or make any of these builds, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.